Welcome to Wednesday Night Insight. My topic tonight is creative appreciation, or how not to eat all the Halloween candy. And Halloween is a holy day in the religious science tradition. It's coming up on Monday, and I love everything about Halloween. I love the dressing up. I love the entertainment and flirtation with darkness, and I love candy. The problem is that candy doesn't always love me in the same way. I romanticize candy. I want to eat it. I want to remember my childhood and the sentimentality and the nostalgia. I want to feel good and playful. But the truth is that I eat one candy and it turns to another one, and I start to not feel good. I start to realize that I'm not taking the best care of myself possible. And believe it or not, and this is terrifying, it can reveal this part of me that feels empty, that feels not filled up, that feels that I need something outside of me to make me feel better. So talk about a Halloween fun story. And let's just say right now, fun size. What is that supposed to mean, fun size? Sounds like a dangerous thing to me. And so this Halloween, I want to be more conscious and not eat all the Halloween candy. However, I don't want to just be really strong and say I'm not going to touch the candy at all. And so I have a different option for me and maybe for you too. So when you steal that candy bar from your kid's Halloween bucket, sit down, turn everything off except for a light to be able to view the delicious candy bar. And maybe you have it right now. Let's just sit and enjoy this candy together. So here's the first thing I noticed. It's delicious. I love it. I'm fully present to the candy bar, the chocolate, the nougat, the caramel. It's delicious. Here's the second thing I'm noticing. I'm satisfied. I'm not thinking about the next candy bar I'm going to get, nor do I feel guilty about enjoying this pleasure. That's another thing for me with the candy. Sometimes I'm late in the kitchen and I'm like putting it in my pocket. I'm afraid I'm going to get caught, or I'm popping it in my mouth before I sit back on the couch. This is fully present, well-deserved candy. Here's one final thing I notice. I don't feel empty. I'm not searching. I'm not grasping for something outside of myself to fill my soul. I just enjoyed a delicious piece of candy. I was fully present to it. I enjoyed every bite. In my own way, I got to share it with people I love. That's you watching right now. And this sense of emptiness in me, it's disappeared. I realize it's something that I create unintentionally when I look for something outside of myself to complete me. But when I cease that and enjoy who I am, I'm right here in the moment, whole, perfect, and complete. You know, they talk about making food with love, but perhaps a better way of saying it is that we should eat food with love. We should love what we put in our body and not do it without mindfulness. There's a story that Emerson used to tell about a father walking down the stairs and his kids seeing a dark figure in their house and screaming and getting scared. And the father looked at the children and said, "Children, you will never see anything more frightening than yourselves." And that way it kind of tells me how I can get off track when I allow something to fill up what I see as my empty vessel, whether that's candy bar or too much alcohol or too much Netflix or whatever it may be. But if instead we can see that it's not always these things that are bad, although for some of us we can't partake in them because we're almost allergic to them, and that's a different talk altogether. But what I'm saying, if those things that we know we want to keep in moderation, that we want to approach in an enjoyable and healthy way, if we could just instead choose to do one at a time, to approach that Netflix episode with mindfulness and to know we're just going to enjoy one, that we're going to pour a nice, healthy glass of wine and we're going to enjoy every taste of it, not spend it stalking someone on Facebook or reading the news, but just being fully present to whatever that thing is. Not only does it help us really enjoy it, but it helps us to remember that it's there to help us feel more complete within ourselves, to celebrate the wonderful things in this thing called life, not to be an escape from this thing called life, not to be something that numbs us out or that we do unconsciously because we feel empty or panicked or anxious. So each day for Halloween, the whole week, could perhaps be celebrated. I'm going to have that 3 days or so where I enjoy just what I did with you. I'm going to enjoy that candy bar. I'm going to enjoy the spirit of Halloween, and I'm going to love myself and my body in the process. How about you?
In this sacred and beautiful moment, I give thanks for the divine presence that is right here. It is breathing me. It is breathing you. It is beating our hearts. It is fully present as the absolute truth in each and every individual. I know that this truth that permeates everything and everyone is unchangeable. Whether I know that or not, in each and every moment, it is unchangeable. It is with me everywhere, no matter where I am. If I am present within the space of Mile High Church, or whether I am watching a service online, the divine is with me constantly. And I feel into that truth. I feel into that incredible power of that truth, knowing that I am supported in everything that I am and everything that I do. And it is absolute for myself. It is for each and every individual inside of the sanctuary, online, in person, or around the world. For the divine is everywhere, in every experience, in every challenge, and in every opportunity. It is there when we open our hearts, and it is there when they are absolutely breaking. I know that the divine is in every situation and every support that is needed, whether it be person or financial, emotional or physical. It comes rushing in every sense and need. And I know that as we are here together, listening to the beautiful words of this service and listening to the uplifting music as we celebrate and devote our time and our minds and our hearts, that we are listening for that moment of truth, for that kernel of wisdom that is needed in this moment. We take what is needed and let go of the rest. We are hearing what we need to hear. We are seeing what we need to see, and we are knowing that we are continually and constantly blessed. For the divine is always working for our good. So I know that as these words are spoken, that the law has listened, the law has responded, and no matter what has been outwardly spoken or spoken within the heart space, I know that the law is moving into action, for it always does, and it always brings exactly what is needed in the perfect time, in the perfect place. And I know that as I let this go out into that creative aspect of the law, that I do so with a grateful heart full of expectation that it is already here. I know that each individual, whether they are within the sound of my voice or whether they are hearing it vibrationally or they just are, I know that they are hearing this, feeling this, sensing it, and knowing it, for these words touch all, for the divine is everywhere, and I am one with the divine. So I let this go into the space, knowing it is done, knowing it is done, and knowing it is done. So I let go, let God, and so it is.